smash the like button and subscribe. Do you support Trump?
Yes, sir.
What's your birth year?
2005.
Why so? Why do you support Trump?
Why is my birth year 2005?
I meant to say, like, why do you support Trump? I apologize.
I support Donald Trump because of the immigration,
What about immigration?
mass deportation.
Okay.
I agree with it 100%.
Why do you support
I
mass
agree.
deportation?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it just makes sense.
Why?
To me, it makes sense to just kick everybody out that shouldn't be here.
Okay.
Does that not make sense to you? Like, seriously?
I don't think every undocumented immigrant should be deported.
Really?
Yeah, I think there are circumstances where undocumented immigrants shouldn't be deported. Like, I'll give you
Like
examples.
when?
Yeah, for example, I'll give you a circumstance where you would think that. Let's say that there was a child brought to this country when they were a baby, and it is the case that you don't know who their parents are. They were left with a
Okay.
family that doesn't know who the parents were, and you don't know which country they came from. They're still undocumented when they're an adult. Would you deport them now that they're an adult?
Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Where would you deport them?
I don't know. Somewhere.
Where?
Out of the U.S.
Where?
But I don't know.
Then tell me where
I
specifically.
don't work for these people, so I don't know where they send these people.
We
but
want to
yes,
send them to Guantanamo Bay?
Sure. Whoever pleases you. I don't give a
You're
fuck.
okay with sending undocumented immigrants, right, who were brought here when they were children. They've been here their whole life to
Irresponsible
Guantanamo
from their-
Bay.
It's irresponsible from their parents to bring them here then.
So because that happened, that means that they should be put in Guantanamo Bay.
So, yes or no, is it irresponsible of their parents?
No.
How?
It's not irresponsible of their parents to put
How?
them into the America. It's irresponsible of their parents to leave them without supervision. That's what's
Yeah.
irresponsible. It's not
Yeah.
irresponsible for them just to come to the United States. It's irresponsible
So
for
it's
them
still their
to
fault.
leave their children.
So it's still their fault.
That doesn't mean that the child should then be deported.
Sure.
So then you're arguing that the child should be deported. Where should they be
Yeah.
deported?
I already told you, I don't know, Parker, but they should definitely be deported.
But you don't know where they should be deported to.
Yes.
So how
How?
can you deport someone if you don't know where to deport them to?
What kind of question is that?
What? What is deportation?
How am I supposed to know where ICE or
What
where the
is
US
deportation?
government sends people?
What's deportation?
Or what is deportation?
Hmm.
To deport somebody out of something.
You can't use deport within the definition of deportation when I'm asking you to define deportation.
Says who?
That's how words work. You need a different word in
okay.
order to be able to give me clarity on what
Okay,
the
to
word
move
is.
something out of something
Okay. So then where are you going to send them?
to a different country, back to their homeland, run a DNA
How do you
test.
you don't know? Okay, so again, ethnicity is not a determination of where specifically which country they're from.
Well, it'll give
And I
you
have
a
a
good
question. I have
idea.
a question. They don't have documents in that country. How do you expect that they're going to be accepted in that country?
I don't know. I'm sure India or China will take them. They have a lot of people.
So just randomly send them to India or China,
Yeah, as long as it's not
even
the
if they
US
don't know
problem.
even if they don't know the language.
Sure. Like I said, it's irresponsible from
You
the
are
parents.
disgusting to send someone who has lived in this country their whole life
It's their
to a
parents'
different country
fault.
where they don't even know the language, where they don't know
First
anything
of
about
all,
the
you're
country,
giving
they
me
don't have
hypothetical
documentation, they have
situations.
nothing that they would be able to have in that country. They are literally fucked if you do that, and you don't give a
Parker,
shit.
Parker, you're giving me hypothetical questions, and on top of that,
These are reality. This happens in reality.
in this hypothetical question, it's still the parents' fault at the end of the day.
That doesn't
They
change.
should never
That
put their
doesn't
kids in that
mean
position.
children
It
should be.
doesn't matter.
Wait, it's also your fault for treating the children that way as well. You disgusting pig.
Okay, why are you so mad?
Because you just said that someone should be deported to a country that they never lived in, that they don't know the language of, just because it is the case that they were in the country and documented because their parents brought them
What
here.
does not knowing the language have to do with anything?
They don't know the place. They don't have
There are
documentations there.
plenty of
They
people
don't
that
have
live in
language.
America. Parker, have you ever worked an actual job?
Yes,
how
I
many
have a job
people-
right now.
You know how many people that
What
live
is it?
here
Wait,
that
can
don't
you
speak
define it?
English?
Can you define job?
No, don't run away from.
Can
what
you
I just
define
said.
job?
Yes. Do you know how many?
Can you
people,
define job? Is it possible?
Look at you ducking at what I'm saying.
Oh, look at him not able to answer what a job is. Look at this.
Parker,
Answer.
do you
What
know
is
how
a job? What is a job?
A job is something that you do for a wage, service you get paid for.
Okay, that's what I'm doing right now, genius. Have I
Okay,
had a job
okay,
before?
okay,
Yes.
sure.
While
Okay,
I'm
sure,
working,
you have a job.
asking me if
Yes,
I've had
you
a
have a
job before
job.
while I'm working at a job is
Wow,
crazy.
Okay, Parker. So can I get to my point? Or are you gonna keep
That's like
interrupting me?
asking an employee at a grocery store that you work at. Have you had a job before?
Well, evidently, Evidently, it's not clear because you just asked a stupid question. Do you know how many people
Have you had
that
a
live
job in your life? They're currently working one, dude.
Oh, you're so mad. Do you know how many people that live in America that don't speak English?
A lot of people.
Yes. So why does it matter if they get sent to a country where they don't know the language? It's irrelevant. They
You
can learn it. It doesn't matter. They can adapt.
Okay,
We're all
so an
humans. We're
18-year-old
people.
that's only lived in the United States their whole
Sure.
life, because it is
Yes.
the case that their parents brought here when they were a child, right? They don't know
Hmm.
what country they're from. They should be sent to either India or China, a country that they never grew up in, they have no relation
Yeah.
to, they don't know the language of, right? Specifically because it is the case that you
I
want
told
some
you my
fucking
preferred
idea of
option.
vengeance, you want some idea of
No,
revenge.
I told you my preferred option. You run a DNA test, you get the most, reliable place where they're from, and then boom, just
A
like that.
DNA
It's
test
not a
does not
complicated.
identify that either.
No,
Austin, thank you
Parker.
for the $15. Thank you so much,
Parker,
Austin. I really
I
appreciate
have
the
a question
$15.
for
Thank
you.
you.
So you just like a whole bunch of murderers and greats that just come into this country for free and for fun? You like that? You're okay
Anyone,
with that?
anyone who
Obviously you do. No. Obviously you do. And then those same people come to this country and then protest and wave their flags in America. If you hate this country so bad, why are you waving the flags? Why don't you go back to your country? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The protests in LA, right? You know what I'm talking about. These people are stupid. You call me a pig. These people are pigs. How you come to a country and just shit on it and bash on it? The reason why you came here is because your country was dog shit in the first place. It don't make no sense. Explain that to me, Parker. You can't.
Yeah, so do you think that everyone who has left a country to come to the United States thinks that the country that they came from is dog shit?
Compared to the U.S., yeah. Or else why would they come here?
No, they could come here for job opportunities. They could come here specifically because
Obviously,
of
yeah, because
they
they
could
wouldn't
come
get
here
those
because
job
they know
opportunities
someone
in their
here.
shit ass country.
Wait, are you saying okay, again, you're saying every other country shit. Okay, I have a
No,
question.
no.
Someone who
I'm
moves
saying
here
Mexico is shit, yeah.
Mexico, how so?
But I just think the government's corrupt. That's so.
Our government is corrupt.
Okay, theirs is way more corrupt. It's run by the cartel.
Okay, so you say, "Oh, it's run by the cartel, therefore
Yeah, buddy.
their country is shit." Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question then. Do you think that Russia is shit?
I don't give a about Russia.
Oh, he's not willing to say Russia is shit, even though Russia is literally incredibly corrupt
Sure, Russia's
and they're run
dog
by a
shit. Yeah,
murderous
Russia's
dictator?
shit. There you go, Russia shit. Yeah, Russia shit.
Russia
Fuck
is shit.
you, man. Yeah,
Okay, I
fuck
have a
you, man.
question. Do you think every country outside the United States is shit?
Sure, USA only, yeah.
Okay, name one characteristic that the USA is number one in.
I don't know. That we don't have to be number one for me to support them. Like that doesn't make any sense. We have the number one military. There you go.
That's it?
That's the most important, evidently, huh?
So, whatever country has the best military, you're
How do we- I have
saying,
a
wait, I have a
question.
question. I have a question. You're
No,
saying
I have a
whatever
question.
country has the best military means they're better. I have a question.
How did we obtain the best military? Is my question. How did we obtain the best military?
We spend a lot of money.
And how do we get that money to spend?
We get that money because our economy is large.
And how is our economy large?
High population, geography.
Yeah. And how come we
we've
have a
taken
high
advantage of a bunch of
population?
other countries.
And how come we have a high population, Parker? How come so many people want to come here,
Immigration.
Parker? How come so many people want to come here, Parker?
Well, how come so? Because this country is a good country to come to.
Oh, okay. So there you go. You just answered your own question.
That doesn't
It
make us the
matter-
best
it
country
doesn't
in the
matter
world.
It doesn't matter.
You just said
Obviously-
every other country is shit and that we're the best country in the world, but you couldn't mention a single characteristic other than military that we're number one in. Or you know what else you could have mentioned? You could have mentioned
I just
prison.
broke it down for you.
You could have mentioned number of prisoners per capita. Yeah, I don't. Do you? Sweet dreams. Thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Love you with the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I just broke it down for
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know how much simpler it can get. You don't listen. It's okay.
Lovey said, I've said it before and I'll
care
say it
what
again.
that-
I am
I don't
black
care
and I will
what
always
that-
happily raise the Palestinian and Mexican flag for those who are too afraid to do themselves.
Who is too afraid to do that?
Because
Why
of
would you be
retribution
afraid?
from our government. Because our government
Why
is
would you
insane.
be afraid? Okay.
Because our
I
government
have
has
a
been
question.
trampling people's
Really, our
First
gov-
Amendment rights.
Oh, really, Parker?
Yes.
So I have a question. If I step out of my house right now in my front yard and raise a Palestinian flag, what is the government going to do to me, buddy?
Nothing happened to you in that specific
I know
context.
nothing's
but-
going to happen to
but
me.
the-
I know.
Yeah,
I know nothing's going to happen.
yeah, but the answer is different from Mahmoud Khalil, right? The answer was different, where he was held for hundreds of days without due process, just because it is the case that he was literally, by the way, he's in the country legally, but just because it is the case that he was advocating for Palestine.
Really?
Yes, and he
Well,
was
I'm
just
gonna need-
recently released.
Something to see more of that because
That sounds like a whole lot of BS.
Look up Mahmoud
Our
Khalil.
government doesn't just arrest people for no
Can
reason,
you look?
Parker.
They do. They do. Can you look up
No, they
Mahmoud
don't.
Khalil? Can you look up
No,
Can you look
to
up
be
Mahmoud
honest, I don't
Khalil?
care about the guy that you're talking about, and he probably deserved whatever happened to him. I don't
Okay.
care.
So you believe that he deserved a violation of his First Amendment rights?
What was his First Amendment and how did he get
Free
violated?
speech.
What did
Because
he do?
they
How
held
was
him
he-
without
how
due
was
process.
he-
They detained him without reason.
Why did they detain him?
Without reason.
Where was he?
Where was he? I can figure out the specific place he was held, but
So
he was
you're talking
detained.
about something that you don't even know the specifics about? That's very irresponsible.
I'm sorry,
of you,
I don't know.
Parker.
I don't know
That's
where he
very
was.
irresponsible.
I'm
of you.
sorry, I don't know where he was detained. Does that
Oh, okay.
change whether or not his due process rights were
Yes,
violated?
yeah, it really does because it depends. What
No,
he
it
was
doesn't.
doing.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter where specifically his rights were
Are you
detained.
slow? Yes, it.
No, it doesn't. I have a question, Joey. I have a question. Can I ask you a question?
Who's stopping you?
Okay, I will. Where is Auschwitz located?
Why is this relevant to our conversation?
Just answer the question.
Why is it relevant?
Where is Auschwitz located?
How is this relevant at all to our conversation?
I will explain. Where is
Wait,
Au-
I have a
where
question.
where is
I have a question.
where is Auschwitz
Why are you
located?
deflecting?
If you don't answer my question, I'm going to kick you. Where is Auschwitz located?
Poland.
You read that from the chat. You waited to
Okay.
read that from the chat. You fucking
So I
disgusting, annoying
so I
ass.
answer your question.
So you didn't know the answer. You read it from the chat because you sat up here and didn't want to answer it. I'll keep asking you questions because you wouldn't want to answer this. Where specifically?
I answer your question and you get mad at me.
No, because you specifically answered it.
You're a narcissist. You're a narcissist.
I'm a narcissist? How?
You're a full-fledged narcissist. You get mad at me when I don't answer your question, and then once you mute me, right? So then I can find.
That's not what a narcissist is.
Then you start yelling at me. Because I get the question. What is
I'm not yelling at you right now. You're actually
what
insane.
is Parker? No, you're actually insane. The way you run your lives is insane. This is the only.
Would you like a Kleenex?
Yeah, I actually do. Thank you very much. The way you run your lives is insane, Parker. This is the only power you'll ever get in life. So you feel the need
Tears?
to just do this to people.
Tears?
Nobody wants that
tears?
dirty ass sink water, buddy.
Tears? You want to put your tears in here?
No. You get mad because I'm smarter than you.
Really? You think you're smarter than me?
I know I'm smarter than you.
Really?
Yeah.
I have a question.
You don't know anything. Literally, I beat you in every discussion. We literally debated tonight. Everything.
What's
Everything.
What's 8 squared?
Everything.
What's 8
Everything.
squared?
81.
That's not 81. No. 8
All right.
squared is 64.
All right, cool. You got me, Parker.
How many branches of government are
What?
there?
Wait, what now?
How many branches of government are there?
3.
What are they?
Judicial, legislative, and what the judicial, legislative, and what the fuck. I can't remember the third one.
He's
Parker.
so much smarter than me, Chad. He's so much
Parker,
smarter.
This doesn't because you're asking me questions on the
It's
spot.
executive. It's executive. That's
Okay, cool.
that is
Yeah,
like a
cool.
second grader can
Okay,
answer
how many
that question.
amendments are there? How many amendments are there?
26.
27, you dumbass. Holy
God.
fuck, you're stupid.
I'm so.
How many
dumb.
articles are there?
I don't know.
7. Look, so you got me for 2 and I got you for 2. Look at that. Aw.
Are those as general known?
Look at that. Yeah, it's the Constitution, buddy.
The amount of branches of government are obviously more well known.
Look at you. Aw, Parker. Aw. So now you're making excuses for when you got.
You didn't know 8 squared, bro.
Look at you. You didn't know how many amendments there were.
Yeah,
In
that's,
the US
that's
Constitution.
totally fine. Your presidential candidate called for the termination of the Constitution. Your presidential
cared.
candidate is a Christian and couldn't name a single verse that he said that was his favorite.
Listen, Parker, you just got owned.
I have a question. Are you Christian?
Am I Christian?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so.
No, you're not.
No. I believe in God, but I don't think I'm Christian.
Okay,
Like, I don't tie myself to religion.
Can you name one specific policy that Donald Trump passed?
No. Do I need to be able? Wait. So it says, why do I support Trump? So now you're asking.
Can you tell me what's
that
the
I
Second
need to have-
Amendment?
Wait,
What-
whoa. So now you're asking me that I need specific policies in order to support a person? Really?
Yeah.
Parker, I hate to break it to you. How many people in the U.S. voted this year?
How many people voted?
Yeah.
77 million plus 75 million. Can you do the
okay.
math?
Okay. Yeah. And how many of those people?
Can you do the
Right.
math?
And how many of those people, right, do you think
He can't.
voted like actually listing and knowing every single policy? Not a lot of them. No. A lot of them are just casual voters, and you know this, Parker.
Okay. Does that
I don't-
justify not knowing a policy?
Yeah, it does justify it. Yeah, because it's the majority. So yeah, it does justify it.
Okay. If a majority of people thought the Earth was flat, would that justify believing that?
No, different situation, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you can't believe it, right? It's hard for you to comprehend. Is it hard for you, Parker?
Appreciate the hand heart. No, it's hard for me to
You see,
comprehend
they're
this.
donating to me. You see, they're donating to me more than you.
Lovey, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's crazy, Lovey. That's so crazy. Miss Smiles a lot. Thank you for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much for Joey, baby girl. You need a binky? You have less emotional regulation than middle schoolers I taught, and at least they were funny. Joey is the bootlicking. Is bootlicking something you like or your kink?
Hmm?
Is they asked if bootlicking is your kink?
I don't know what that is.
It's what you do.
Okay.
Lovey, thank you for the $5. Thank you so
Haha, I
much.
guess.
What'd you say?
I said haha, I guess. Like,
This is bad for you, Parker.